Aloha, my YouTube friends and family. This is so exciting. I have a very special guest today. This is Dani Inman, and she is a physician astrologer who follows the constellational true to the stars astrology system. And she is here to join us in a fabulous conversation about this upcoming Venus Cassini the Sun, right? Venus in the heart of the sun, as well as some other really unique information that I came across on her social media. And I said, Dani, will you jump on here with me? Because you've got some amazing knowledge to share. Dani, would you like to share a little bit about your story and how you got into this form of astrology and what do you do exactly? What's your
Absolutely. First, thank you so much. Hello, everyone. I really appreciate you guys hosting me. You're actually the first person to invite me to your channel, so I am so honored and excited. And you'll always be my first. You'll always be my first. Um, I call myself a physician astrologer. So basically, all that means is that I am someone who is a traditionally allopathic trained physician. I specialize in obstetrics and gynecology. I deliver babies. And, I've always lived a very guided, very lucky life, and I've always wondered to myself, why are some people so lucky and why are some people not lucky? I mean, those people where stuff just always happens to them. They're always in harm's way or they're always in circumstances that just really just don't make any sense.
right?
And at the same time, I've encountered some crazy things, but then like, oh, luck just sort of swept in. Do you know what I'm saying? And I've really always wanted to figure out what that was about. Why does that happen? Is it our fault? Is it just luck? Is it fate? Is it destiny? Is it angels? What is it? And so it led me down this crazy, like spiritual seeking path. And I've always been interested in astrology, but it never really resonated with me until I realized that my son was actually in Cancer the day I was born, and I wasn't a Leo.
Oh, and
Because
was that when you came across sidereal astrology?
yes,
Ah,
yes. Um, And what I realized is that we all actually unconsciously follow these cycles of the moon, the Mercury, the sun, Venus, Mars, all of them, and their conjunctions, and the sun wobbles back and forth. And when they do certain things to angles and these things happen to you. And it happens in medicine too. Probably the, the full moon on a labor and delivery ward, for example, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Okay.
woo.
So I know, but also Mercury retrograde messes with healthcare too,
Yes.
right? When it's going backwards, be careful getting surgery. I mean, I've been on the other end doing surgery during Mercury retrograde and they take wild turns. It's crazy. So this
Yeah.
stuff really works. It really, really works. And I was
Mhm.
always kind of in the closet about the astrology because I don't want to, why is this smart person dabbling in this silly, thing and all this stuff? And, I got over that when I realized there's this father of medicine guy named Hippocrates. Y'all might have heard of him,
Yeah.
maybe. Like, do no harm. That's the vow you take. And I did it. I stayed in my little white coat and I took the vow. He also said any physician that doesn't know astrology should not consider himself a physician.
That's right.
So I was like, okay, I might be able to own that. And I researched it, looked it up, and it turns out that astrology was a prerequisite for medical school prior to 1650.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, you would be surprised how many people, how many normal everyday patients follow astrology or want their baby born during a certain sign.
Right.
And then I was like, wait, it's the wrong sign, you guys. And I would talk to them about it.
Right.
And they were like, that's so cool.
Right.
So I said, you know what? Let me just see if I can help people with astrology in general. And I
Mhm.
started my little business about 2 years ago.
Ah,
And so yeah,
me
I do
too.
like yeah, I do like little babe, like if you have a new baby, we can do a life read on your baby. Um we can also do sun, moon, rising reports. I have free charts on my website. I have courses. I have it all at drdani.com. But um so yeah, so that's how I came across it. And when I wanted to learn sidereal astrology, I realized it was so fringe, or constellational astrology. It was so incredibly fringe that the the mechanism by which we can learn it and spread it and make it more accessible to more people was not there.
Right.
Like it was like dive in and figure it out.
Yeah.
And my instinct when I'm in a situation like that is to literally like consume it and reprocess it so that more people can understand it. And
Right.
that's my passion. That's what I do. I have
I
Venus
get it.
conjunct Saturn. My Venus and Saturn are conjunct
Right.
in Gemini,
Okay. Yep.
conjunct Sirius, conjunct Lilith in the second house.
Oh, there you go.
Jupiter Aquarius 10th house.
Uh-huh.
They trine.
You have a
So,
lot of air. You have a lot of air with grounding energy.
mhm.
That's fantastic for teaching.
So I tell people, I say, when I'm not delivering the star seeds, I'm watching the stars.
Right.
That's what I do.
You might be guiding the star seeds as they get older and they need to know where to go after they got here.
Yeah. And it dawns on you as an astrologer when you're delivering a baby, I know everything I need to know about this person.
Mm,
If you believe in fate and destiny, but
right.
there's a free will component too, I think,
Oh yeah.
to all of it, you know?
Hmm. Yeah. Wow.
Which
Well,
which oddly enough, they actually can go hand in hand if you understand astrology. And here's another cool thing I can tell you from being a doctor and an astrologer. My astrology clients, tell me more personal things about their life than my patients ever did. It's
right.
amazing. And it's so much more rewarding in a way, right?
That's
Because you
that's
know how
kind of
they
funny,
tick and you
actually.
can help them. Yeah, it's amazing. So,
It is amazing on an astrology call how much one learns about the person,
mhm.
how much they share, and how much the chart then shows about the person. Where I'm told almost every reading, I get the funniest statement of, have you been walking around recording my life and you're just telling me what you saw? Because both Dani and I do the constellational astrology. And so I just want to share what that is. Astrology is based on the actual stars in the sky right now if you had a telescope, whereas mainstream or tropical astrology is not based on the stars at all. It's actually based on where the stars were 2,000 years ago and is no longer accurate to the actual constellations. That's why we call it constellational astrology. And when you base someone's chart on the actual sky, as Dani will confirm as another constellational astrologer, the accuracy, would you agree? It's like, it's insane. I went
It's
from
night
not,
and day. It's night and
it's
day. People that go from tropical to constellational will never go back.
no,
There's a lot of cognitive dissonance getting there. Like once you're like, wait, the sun is not in Gemini right now? No, it's not.
right,
It's in Taurus still. And it's in
right.
Taurus, conjunct Venus, conjunct Jupiter, conjunct everything. It's so fantastic.
Which is why we're here today.
Yes, yes.
So, so Dr. Dani comes from this incredible experience as a physician, watching the effects of the planet, of the moon cycles on her clients, on birth, on delivery, on surgery. I mean, talk about an incredible firsthand perspective of seeing the planets in action in real life, leading up to you using astrology as a guide for others. I just think that's an absolutely incredible story.
Well,
Uh,
thank you.
that's
Thank you.
amazing, and kudos to you for helping babies come onto this planet. That is a huge gift. And, astrology deals with the birthday, right? And birth.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you have firsthand witness of what birth actually looks like and how powerful of a moment that is for each of us as we come through. So amazing. I'm so glad you're here. This is exciting. I'm excited. Um, just FYI, I have Gemini on the midheaven.
Okay.
So I think we'll get along great. I think
Cool.
I think
Cool.
we'll do some good collaboration here. We are here, my friends, to look at a very beautiful conjunction activation happening between the sun and a ton of other planets, all lining up in the constellational sign of Taurus. Uh, Taurus is beautiful energy. I always think of Taurus as a fertile, lush river valley, just overflowing with flowers and trees and birds and bees. And you're walking with your shoes off, you're smelling the flowers, you are bathing in the essence of the earth, and you are feeling actually one with Gaia. You're feeling, yes, I'm in a body. I am here. I am on the ground. This is life, right? It's very material, very physical, very tangible, touchable. Dr. Dani, what would you share about Taurian energy? What would be your expression of that beautiful energy?
I'm a Taurus rising.
Oh, wow.
So I really never, the funny thing about your ascendant is you never really realize it's you unless you can watch yourself. And I never came out in public ever. I'm like, okay, whatever, I'm a Leo sun. No, I'm not. Until I started wanting to share my astrology. So I said, okay. And I watched my videos and I was like, that is so not who I thought I was. And so that's what's so interesting about that ascendant energy. But that makes Venus my chart ruler.
Right.
And I I feel like my best moments are the Turian moments where I'm in the right here, the right now. There's nothing else. There's nothing behind me. There's nothing in front of me. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to worry about. Everything's taken care of. It's just creation, recreating itself every single moment.
Mm.
That is Taurus for me. And yes, very grounded at the same time. And I think there's an element of gratitude almost
Hmm.
with Tauran energy. Like, in the northern hemisphere anyway, when you start to see it, that's right when spring is coming. You're like, oh yeah, here comes that Taurus. Winter's gonna be over soon. It's nice. The
Right.
Pleiades are a big deal too. You've got Alcyon there. That's going to be a very huge. That's really the only thorn I think in Taurus's side, that star cluster, because I am all love and light, but shit happens, right? I mean, and you got Jupiter over all that over it now, like past it, but Uranus is there.
Oh boy.
Uranus is behind it, right? And Uranus and Sun and Jupiter and Venus and all that was really nice, bringing Uranus into Taurus energy. But now Uranus is going to be alone in Taurus for a little while, and then we'll slowly, gradually touch that star cluster. And I get concerned for a little bit of chaos that Tauran energy doesn't like, right?
Right. No, not at all.
It doesn't like it. Please don't change things. This is
Yeah.
perfect right here, right now.
Right.
Don't even talk about change.
Right.
So that
Well,
might be a tough thing.
Talk about Uranus and Taurus, right? Talk about the change planet and Taurus, let's stay the same already
Hmm.
without
Hmm.
even touching Alcyon. Like just even
Hmm.
right now, it's like, well, this is, I have a lot of clients. I have one client who has Saturn in Taurus with
Okay.
right on top of it. And I'm like, I don't want to break this to you, but I have to share with you that Uranus is the planet of change and unexpected happenings, and it's the opposite of what your Saturn wants to stay the same and never change in Taurus is. And so there might be some change in your life, and just be prepared for this. And I just want to have everyone out there also realize that having Uranus and Taurus for how many is it, like 7 years that
It's a
Uranus will be?
minute. Yeah,
It's
it's a minute. I think it's ultimately for the benefit, but there's
Oh,
going to
sure.
be weird things that you may have never thought of doing before, and you've got to be open to that. That's the idea, right?
Right, right,
Don't be stuck in the Taurian, like, I must have it my way. Be a little bit like Uranus. Take that in there because it's going to help you ultimately. It's like buying Bitcoin when it was 35 cents.
right,
That's kind of like that Taurus. Like, eventually that'll have been the right thing to do. It just was a little bit out of your character. So breaking pattern, I think, is
right.
the way to get through that. If you're inspired to do something weird and different, don't judge yourself. Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what my favorite example, and this happened literally right as Uranus was going into Taurus, and I was like, God, what are the the synchronicities with this stuff, is a device, a technological device that plugs electrodes into a tree or flower or plant, and it literally can take the vibrations of the plant and turn it into a sound frequency. So you can basically use technology, plug it into a plant or a tree, and it begins to create music, kind of like a sound system coming from the tree, so you can hear its song. You can hear the plants and the trees song just by plugging in this device
Oh,
to it.
for sure. Yeah. Or even development of free energy technology, tapping into the void, into the neutron, all that stuff is potentially
Yeah.
happening. Anti-gravity. Yeah.
It's like the combination of science, technology, and invention with Mother Earth
Earth.
and
Yes.
nature.
I love it.
That's the next 7 years. So very exciting for permaculture, earth-based, plant growing,
Flying cars on
flying
electricity or
cars.
on water. They're flying on water, like that kind of energy.
Right. Right. So it's kind of like bringing matter, right? A car like would be super Taurian, stable object, and then bringing in the invention of the water and the flying on the water would be the
Hmm.
car. That's so cool. That's so cool. So, anyways, that could be maybe a next talk we go into. Today, we are going to talk about Venus aligning with the sun. And Dani, Dr. Dani, actually she created like a 4-hour class on
Hmm.
Venus itself. So if y'all want to have access to that, you can go. We'll leave a link to her YouTube channel because I think it's free and it's available to the world. Is that true?
The YouTube channel is
Yes,
the practicum is not that,
of
that takes
course.
time to create the
Four
PowerPoint,
hours, four
research
hours. That's a
all the
huge
data,
amount.
and host it, of course. And it's available in like a course type format. So they're modules. They're
Okay.
about 20-30 minutes. It takes some time to go through. I mean,
Sure.
but you won't spend years going through it. You'll spend maybe weeks going through it.
Awesome.
And
Awesome. Well,
yeah. So I'll leave links. You can go to my channel to check
sure.
it out too.
Well, that's well, anyway, she created that. And so I thought, who better to have on the channel than an expert on Venus and on what is going to happen as Venus aligns directly with the sun tomorrow, June 4th. Do we have an exact time? Did you?
Yeah, well, my time it'll be 10:47 a.m. That's
So really
Central
soon,
Daylight. Yeah.
24 hours, less
Hmm.
than 24 hours away.
Hmm.
Okay. So, Dr. Dani, would you like to introduce this sun, this Venus Cassini, the sun? Cassini, of course, meaning in the heart of the
Yes. I
energy.
saw I saw you on YouTube maybe yesterday, and you were talking about it. You did such a great job explaining like the energy of it.
Oh my God.
And
I'm just so excited.
yeah.
I'm
And
so,
one of the things I have a very scientific brain. Like I'm published. I've done research. I like to compare and contrast things and watch things and observe things. And so um, I, I want to just start with the Venus cycle, if that's
yeah,
okay,
please.
because
I never even knew about a Venus cycle. So please
oh my
share
gosh,
with us.
then I will, if with your permission and with
Oh,
the permission of your audience, share my screen and I'll just
yeah,
run through a few of the slides in this
take us through
practicum
it.
class to give
Yeah.
you like because I think everyone should study Venus. I think if you want to really tap in, because the whole thing is about your wealth, right? You
Family.
know, it's
Yes,
a
let me see what's going on here. I think I have special. You know, it's so funny, Dr. Danny, whenever I'm
yeah.
doing live, my video will somehow start playing in the background.
Oh,
Yeah, so
and then you
here
can
we
hear
go.
it. Yeah. Um, but these planets affect us unconsciously. But what if we could work with them consciously by actually understanding their energy, how they affect us, that you can scientifically prove this. I mean, I can't do this in 5 minutes, but I can at least pique your interest so that you might want to, either take this class or start working consciously with her yourself.
Yeah,
I do a new video every time she changes signs.
right.
And we talk about everything she does during the time in that constellation and what that means in her greater cycle, because it's a 20-month cycle. And tomorrow starts a brand new cycle. And the reason it starts there is because of that inflection point with the sun, which is called a superior conjunction. But for me, Venus energy is, it's like the divine light inside of us. If the sun is that outward expression, this is our inner sun. This
Interesting.
is our inner light. This is the piece of the divine that is here to experience the physical and give it that back to the creator through taste, through touch, through smell, through feeling, through loving, through hating, through dying, through being born, through being reborn.
Wow.
This guy right here, if you go to worldteachertrust.org, there's basically talks to Venus as being a process of purification and detachment from the matter, being pure love, wisdom, and immortality. So he's talking not only about the experience of the physical body, but the etheric body here. And the idea meaning that if you can gain wisdom through the sensation of the physical sensations, and you can also do that, it's like a birth-death process. So by the time it's time for your actual physical death, you can do it without fear.
Wow.
So it's a path to immortality, so to speak. They also mention it in the Law of One. They say that they're from Venus. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that, but if you were to research the Law of One, they're channelings that came through in the 1980s, and they talk about being from Venus.
Oh, wow.
You know, and their physical bodies, they only had 4 fingers, so they never fought each other. There was no fighting. They never picked up weapons or anything like that. It's super interesting. A lot of cultures created their calendars because of Venus. If you ever, there's an ancient almanac called the Venus Almanac, and it's from Babylon and Sumeria. And they basically track their calendars through Venus. Half of a Venus cycle is the length of a human gestation.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm going to play you this amazing video right here. Not that one. In a minute, that you'll get that one.
Oh, cool.
This is basically Earth here in the middle. Then you got the sun, and then you got Venus. And you're going to watch Venus trace a path from the Earth's perspective with the sun. And this is what we're doing right now. Okay, this is the superior conjunction. This is the Cassini. It's Earth, Sun, and Venus. So if you're looking down at the solar system, this is what you see. Does that make sense?
Wow.
But from the Earth's perspective. So we're not going to be all orbiting around the sun. We're going to be all orbiting around Earth. I'll play it. It'll make more sense. Here we go. Here we go. So it should start going. Here we go. All right. This is Venus retrograde and an inferior conjunction. Another superior conjunction. Another inferior conjunction. So what you're watching unfold here is sacred geometry.
Right.
It is sacred numerology as well, because after one more star point, you're going to see the 5-pointed star.
Wow.
Right? Which symbolizes the 5 elements: earth, fire, wind, or air, water, and ether.
Right.
Okay. Is that not the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in your life?
It's so gorgeous, Dr. Dani. I had no idea. I always loved Venus. I mean, the goddess energy, right? That's how I've seen it, but I've never known about the shape that it actually creates in its cycles. This is amazing.
It gets better.
It gets better. Oh my gosh.
Shall I go on? Shall I go on? Okay. So what you may not have noticed in this beautiful pattern, because we're using one side of our brain to observe this pattern and take it in, the other side of the brain might notice that Venus makes 13 orbits around the sun. Okay, 13.
Wow, interesting.
In the 8 years that Earth orbits the sun. Okay, so we have 5, 8, and 13. Okay. Just remember those numbers for a minute. Just let your left brain just remember those numbers for just a second, because I'm going to go back to this. The Fibonacci sequence
Right.
which is a series of numbers, basically where the next number is the addition of the two previous numbers. So 0, 1, 1, 2. So 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5. Do you see how they build that series of numbers?
That's amazing. Yeah, I've seen this before, and I thought when it was doing it, I was like, that looks like the Fibonacci sequence. That's
Yes.
amazing.
The 13th number of the Fibonacci sequence is 144, which is 12 times 12. What? Okay. Take a breath here. The next thing that happens is that this Fibonacci sequence encodes the golden ratio, which is where this spiral comes from.
Right.
Have you seen this spiral before?
Oh, yeah, I've seen, yeah, everywhere. In every living thing, all of
Right?
creation.
Embryos,
Huh?
flowers, galaxies, hurricanes.
Uh-huh. Wow.
It is the underlying mathematics, for lack of a better word, or quantum coding in the ether that we sit in. This
Right.
is what is encoded here
Wow.
through these two planets, through the sun and Venus, and or three, Earth, Venus, and sun.
This is incredible.
I mean,
I'm
I'm just, yeah. So, talk about sacred geometry.
I'm just blown away that Venus, the planet, when I think of her, who most embodies the material enjoyment of the physical reality here on Earth, really enjoying the smells and sights and sounds and being so embodied, her cycle matches the Fibonacci sequence and the golden ratio. That is just so appropriate. Is so amazing.
I know. And you can't have a divine feminine principle without a masculine principle,
Right.
right?
Right. What's the story there?
So yeah, so Venus is that creative light, that piece of source inside of you.
Right.
But just as above, you need the container, you need the universe, you need the divine thought that knows all things. You also need a creative container within yourself to channel this Venus energy.
Right.
Yeah. So let's see. I love this example, right? What would happen if he was not there? This gorgeous, beautiful creature expressing herself would be flown across the ice and would be
Yeah,
damaged, and she would need a
very
doctor.
dangerous. Yes.
Yeah.
Call the medic quickly.
So that's where we talk about the responsibility of it. And I did a little research on the sort of the medical, like what chakra is Venus. And you go to like 8 or 9 different sources. Everybody has a different favorite chakra for Venus. And so
Right.
what I decided was that Venus rules none of these.
Hmm.
She's not a chakra energy. She's the energy in the chakras.
Yeah, the
She's the
Shakti.
prana, the chi, the you take a deep breath, you feel the breath, you feel the spirit tingles, you visualize the light. That light is Venus to me.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, most people only experience Venus from the solar plexus down, from the root chakra to the sacral chakra you can all probably feel that right now in your own life. Go, yep, that was Venus in my root. That was Venus in my sacral. That was Venus here. But what is Venus in the heart? Oh my God, could you imagine the ecstatic bliss of an energetic, again, I can't find the word, or orgasmic moment in the
Right.
heart where you're in love with creation,
Right.
where you're in love with everyone around you, everything around you, because you created it, because God created it. And you know what I mean?
Right.
Above the heart, you're a creator God here.
Mhm. Mhm.
So you work with her consciously. You don't really have to lift a finger because your action is inspired. Inspired action is effortless.
Mhm.
And she magnetizes the things you need to you. She's
Right.
never blocked. She's never malefic ever.
Mm.
ever, but she can be blocked. And blocked Venus can manifest in sort of all the ways we might envision, those dwarf asteroid fractals of the darker Venus energy. Yeah.
Right. Right. This is interesting, Dr. Dani, because when I look into Ophiuchus energy, the 13th sign, which Ophiuchus is almost like exactly opposite from, Taurus on the constellational wheel, which Taurus, of course, Venus rules the sign Taurus. And and I look at Ophiuchus and I often talk about how it relates to our Kundalini system, right? To the mastery of the
Yes.
energy. Okay, so it would make sense that Venus would be the energy itself, right? It would be the raw life force that is running through it. And Ophiuchus would be the mastery of learning to master that energy. What does master mean? Well, learn how to direct it, either from, you know, its stuck place or to raise it up, as you were saying, to be fully expressed through the heart, through the throat, through the higher chakras, which, I always talk about Kundalini yoga and Tantra and the art of raising our energy. And so powerful and profound how you're kind of revealing here where that base energy comes from and how beautiful it is, like pure feminine life force, similar to what they call Shakti
Mhm.
in yoga, right? The Shakti and the Shiva, which is the
This is
female
it.
and the masculine.
Yes.
Amazing.
Amazing. And I am so, like, I'm over here doing zoomies, like, in my spirit's doing zoomies around the room right now that you made that connection because I've, I've done this, right? This is whenever there's a superior conjunction. Okay. Cause, let's see, did I
You
do
guys
this?
noticing how many slides she has, by the way? I'm like, oh, what's in there? I'm so
Uh, yeah. Well, I was going to go in.
you're
I
proud of
wasn't going to
me.
go into this, but you made the connection. And so I'm going to go there
Yay.
because when we have um, this 20-month cycle, halfway through her cycle is the star point, those
Mm,
loops. Remember those loops in that video I showed you?
mhm,
Um, this is when Venus is retrograde. This is when Venus is the closest to Earth. Like
mm,
she's so close that there's actually a gravitational effect on our tides.
mm.
This is
Wow.
gonna come in 10 months from now.
Okay.
This happened last August.
So any babies conceived around this time
There's yes, you could measure it
or
like
next
that
month?
for sure, for sure. But this is you've ever heard of the story, The Descent of Inanna?
Yes. But
This
tell
is
us
when
more.
this happens. This is almost is the shortest time Venus disappears because right now she's gone for about 60 days. We don't see her in the sky. But when
Mhm.
she does this inflection point, she disappears for 8 days. This is
Right.
the descent of Inanna.
Right.
This is that death, birth, and rebirth ascension energy that you get in Ophiuchus,
Right.
that you're
The
fully
underworld.
healed. Yes, she goes to the underworld and comes back
And
up.
back. Right.
Yes. So this is what she does. And so the last one was in Leo on August 13th. The next one is in Pisces, right where that
Mm.
eclipse was.
And it'll be her retrograde cycle. Is that what we're
Yes.
looking
Yep.
at?
She'll be retrograde.
Okay.
This will be that retrograde loop that we watched
Wow.
right here. So this is when she can affect the tides on Earth. That's how close she is.
Wow. And look at the destiny point really close to Neptune and Saturn all close together. That is going to be 322 looks like a powerful day in
It's almost like the eclipse,
there.
right? Remember the eclipse in April?
Exactly, but it's all under the horizon line. And so it feels like a lot of underground things maybe being processed around our ability to physically handle our spiritual connection with that in Pisces. It's like our physicalizing what we processed at the eclipse, perhaps, sort of integrating.
Yeah.
into the bones,
God, you can
into the
tell
gut.
you're just an astrologer to the bone yourself, man. You're just like,
Oh, I
yes, let
just,
me read that.
it's
There's
just,
another one in 2026.
oh my
I'm taking you through the
gosh,
Venus
this is fun.
master cycle right
Oh,
now.
I love this.
So that
This is class.
this will be Virgo,
Okay.
and then Taurus in 2028 conjunct Uranus. Look at that.
Look at how at her retrograde points she is coming together with so many planets. It's like she's getting cozy, having
Mm-hmm.
a party with all the main players here. You
Yep.
know,
And then the last one, I'm almost done. This is good. The last one is Sagittarius, and
oh
then
my
back to
gosh,
Leo. It goes back to the same sign every 8 years.
the retrograde. Same sign every
Same
8 years.
sign, yes. So a Leo Venus star point happens every 8 years.
Interesting.
Every single time I have a Leo Venus star point, wild things happen in my life.
Right. Every 8 years.
Okay, yes. I think back because that was 2023. So 2015, boom, crazy. The 2008, crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So this last one, I was like, I'm getting ready for this. I'm going to publicize my journey. I want you all to be a witness. And it was quite miraculous, actually, because it was more of a conscious collective collaboration dealing
Right.
with it that I was able to help more people through it, and consequently I was helped through it.
Yes.
So yeah, that's the short story
That is
on
a
Venus. But I did want to show you one more thing, and then I'll give it back to you, and we can talk more about it. This is a little short that I created. You'll find it on my YouTube channel as well. This is starting right now, and we can slow this down and see how it goes. But we're going to watch Venus right here. This is her whole cycle, the next 20 months. She's evening star, evening star, evening star, getting farther and farther away from the sun. And then in January, she's going to go, wait for it. Here it comes. Retrograde. You see it?
mm,
And so now she's a morning star again. And she's going to complete her cycle, I think in Virgo this time. So you can watch that as many times as you want to kind of get the pattern of Venus and what her energies are.
yeah, if anyone has questions, please write them in the chat. I know several people are watching. Hi, Star Soul Oracle
Oh,
is my
hi. Yeah,
favorite
she's on my
one.
channel too.
Um, I just want to mention about Inanna because I know
Mm-hmm.
people probably are not familiar with Inanna, and the story of Inanna is very powerful for astrology in that a lot of really the origin of astrology came from ancient Babylon. And so the story of Inanna, of course, was one of the, original deities that the Babylonians spoke of, who had quite a story, almost in some ways similar to the Egyptian story of Isis and Osiris, right? And the divine love between Inanna and her love, and then I think his death, and then her descent into the underworld, and then her return back. And it's quite a powerful story. So if your interest was piqued by that, I definitely check it out. And maybe at some point, Dr. Dani would be open to doing a Babylonian deep dive with me because I have a feeling we could have some really good conversations. One thing I wanted to ask you, Dr. Dani, was about the constellation Virgo and how she and the Babylonian mythos was actually perceived as the first mother or like the divine mother goddess of fertility of the earth.
Now you're going to get me going on another tangent.
Well, we'll come back to that. But
No, I mean, no, Virgo and Venus are very connected. And
it
it,
seems that way.
I personally, this is just me, take it or leave it. I personally feel like Mercury is the worst ruler for Virgo.
I feel the same way.
because Mercury is not male or female. Mercury is very transactional. There's no emotions there. We're just going to
Right,
sell the beauty to the highest bidder. Who wants to buy the
right,
beauty? And as a result, what you get are women who are completely like comparing themselves to this unachievable perfection, right?
yeah,
I can't get pregnant. What's wrong with me? I'm
right,
too short. What's wrong with me? I have hair on my chest. What's wrong with me? Like all of this stuff that it's just unreal. It's not real, and it's because of Mercury. Mercury would be so much better as Libra. Libra needs
right.
Mercury, right? And
Yes, that's a
Venus,
great idea.
Venus, the divine, um, dirty, little bit overweight, sleepy, messed up hair, woman with a baby on her hip and one on the way, like lactating, beautiful earth goddess energy is also Venus.
Right.
So
You know what I actually started using in my trainings, right? Because I do trainings, I teach master classes,
I know
and
you do.
I changed, I said, you know what? I'm done with Mercury being the ruler of Virgo. And I've actually been using Kyrdes, the asteroid of the agriculture and the abundance and nurturing, as one of my stand-in rulers for Virgo as I contemplate other options for that energy. But yes, maybe that Venus discussion needs to be had. Interesting.
Yeah, Virgo does not need a minor ruler. Virgo needs a queen to rule her.
Virgo is a queen. It is the biggest constellation. I mean, it is
This
like
this is
so
it's also Wiccan magic. like
right,
like and it's not that it's evil in any way. It's basically taking earth and creating intention and rituals together. It's like
right,
church, it's like church.
right,
That's what you do at church, a ritual to bring forth your intention.
right.
Virgo has what, over 1,000 galactic centers in it, like it's part of the Virgo cluster.
Ooh,
Yeah, so if you were to zoom
is
into
that
Virgo, if you were to zoom into Virgo, you
right,
or Google how many galaxies are in Virgo, you would get over 1,000, while all the other constellations are 10 or 100.
right?
And what is a galaxy, right? It's a black hole center. It's creating matter from energy, stardust, planets, stars, people, things. Yeah,
There we go.
that's
We
what
are on
Virgo does.
the next topic already. So, so I'm going to just bring it back around to this Venus aligning with the sun. And what you just showed us, Dr. Dani, is a mind-blowingly taking what I knew, I felt in my heart and soul that this Venus, Cassimi, the sun, Venus in the heart of the sun was something special. I mean, I've just been like, I'm excited. I can feel it. There's some kind of abundance energy coming through. But what it looks like is that the planet of love is literally lining up with the sun and the earth. And it's like a straight shot of Venusian energy to us directly.
Yeah,
Um, which, if you know what you're sharing with us, is that Venusian energy is not just a chakra, it's literally the entire Shakti, the energy that fills the space. And it's in the sign of Taurus, which is the sign that Venus supposedly rules. Um, what do you think? What do you think is going to come in with this Venus aligning with the sun energy?
I think because it's a new cycle, it's always good to start with the basics. What do you want to create? This is your creative cycle. So if you haven't been thinking about it, don't worry. It's not too late. These are not quick cycles like the moon, you have a little bit of time here between now and the next few days to really send intentions to that center, that heart that's authentically you, that glowing bit of the divine spark that is manifesting outward, to what is it that you want to create? What do you want to create from? And what's so beautiful about it is whatever you did yesterday, it doesn't have to be that way today. You can change it in a minute. It might
Mhm.
take some time to ripple outward, but you can change it in a minute, and unblock Venus. And so, I mean, I have my own set of intentions, and they're for me. And I would share them if you want. At the end, we could do a little like thing where we would share them. But it's the beginning of a creative cycle, and I would expect it to peak and to manifest in about 10 months to so now we're inseminating
Oh,
the gestation, right?
wow. So this is like a conception.
Yes.
Wow.
And then nurture it and grow with it and feel it move within you, and name it. And then, like when you're pregnant, I've never been pregnant, but those of you that have, you picture what your baby will look like. You picture yourself holding your baby, and so do that. That reality that you want, kind of move forward as if, what can I do today? What can I do in this very instant to make this thing real, even if it's not the whole picture, you know?
Wow. Wow. And what I would add to that, which is I really feed off of like I love to collaborate. And so what was coming through as you were speaking, Dani, was this Dr. Dani, was this kind of miraculous combination between like if we envision Venus as Shakti, just pure energy. And then she's lining up, she's being sort of illuminated and amplified, right? It's kind of like just divine feminine energy being more light, like at an exact peak. And then that she is in the constellation of Taurus, which is Earth, physical manifestation, physical plane, beauty, physical plane, wealth, physical plane, abundance. That what's come through to me is in terms of, well, what should I focus on wanting to create? Like, what would be a good arena of my life? Of course, you can choose anything you want. But what I was getting was about the creation of the beauty of our physical reality, right? So, our bank account, our home, our clothing,
For
how
sure.
how do we embody our divine beauty in the physical plane? And I was thinking about all of us spiritual teachers and guides, and how maybe this is like a coming together, the spiritual light of the sun with the material abundance
The expression of creation through the
intertwined.
Venusian principle. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And I just thought, wow, like feminine abundance, like allowing our feminine self, that Venusian energy to create in the physical plane. And I was thinking about women, and I was thinking about how for thousands of years, a lot of times our wealth or abundance came through kind of the masculine, or it came through patriarchy, or, you know, external. And I was seeing, I was just kept getting this divine awareness that we're entering into an era where divine wealth is going to both come through masculine and feminine channels now. Like it's like the opening of the portal for whatever glass ceiling was there around feminine wealth to finally go, to finally go. And I was seeing this vision of divine feminine wealth and abundance manifesting in the material realm on a level that is just unheard of up to this point, right? And it's not that women haven't been wealthy, and it's not that men aren't going to be wealthy too, but it's more that the balance between feminine ability to create wealth is just going to become an open market.
Yeah, and I,
Oh,
I think to on a deeper perspective, what you might be sort of referring to is the energy of fear and lack, and that is actually an illusion.
right.
Okay, because the creator is abundant, the creator is eternal, the creator is all there is, and there is no end to it. Okay.
Exactly.
I often joke and I say, I know that there is unlimited amount of resources and money in this world because of the way the government spend money. I know this. And I often joke with people. I'm like, do you see? That money's yours too. You can have it. You have access to it. There's no
Right.
reason that you cannot put yourself on the same pedestal as the elite and say, this is mine too. Like,
Right.
not two, like I have my own source. I have my own source of trillions of dollars. Did you know that
Exactly.
there's enough gold on earth to make thir- a 13-inch layer of gold? That's enough to billions of years.
There we go.
We've got it. We are abundant. We have it. Earth has it. Mother will
Exactly.
provide it. Universe will show you the way.
Exactly.
It's here. And and so it's accepting that. That's hard. I mean, I'm still doing that, like saying, yes, I'm good enough to live elegant. I'm good enough to have this and have that, and I've worked hard
Yeah.
enough. All those things that we
Yeah.
deny ourselves for some reason. Like, why do we
It's
deny
the
ourselves
past.
those things?
It's the
Yeah.
past.
It's
It's the
over.
past story. And what I saw, Dr. Danny, and I get intuitive channelings, and that's one of the reasons that's how I read is what comes through. And it was like Source was showing me this beautiful Venusian love ray coming down through our chakras, energy centers, purifying and opening the channel to our ability to receive that wealth and to
Yeah.
expand into our worthiness and value, Taurian ideas of yes, I can have that. Yes, I can expand what I am worthy of. I can expand how much I value what my gifts are. And and I saw it being especially for the feminine principle, not just in women, but in men as well, like them getting to open up to, and with Mars in Pisces right now, the masculine energy in Pisces, which is the spiritual, which is the intuitive, which is this yin awareness. And it was like one day I went out and I saw a ton of men sitting around playing music together. And I just thought, yeah, yeah. So it's like allowing both the masculine and feminine to be open more to their intuitive, spiritual, love, right? Venus being love, gifts, and how that those are, it's possible to make a material, physical reality amount of wealth through those. So soul and wealth opening, coming together more.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of people like get kind of triggered when you talk about money, like in the spirit, like you shouldn't earn money, you shouldn't
Right.
take people's money. And I'm like, you know what? I would say that if you offer the most authentic service from your heart, like abundance has to follow. And it's hard to
Right.
take that leap when you do it from a place of lack. It really is because you're
And
scared to give when you don't have enough for yourself. When you have enough, when you're sustained, when you're rested, when you're happy, when you're loved, you then overflow. Your cup overflows and you can give and give. And then it's just an endless cycle.
right. Yeah, like the Venus cycle, just an endless cycle
Mhm.
of love and abundance and prosperity flowing in so beautifully. So, so I actually spoke to my partner. We both do energy clearing. I was like, look, there's such an amazing aspect for wealth and for abundance and opening to receiving that. Will you put together a live event? And so we're actually
Oh,
doing a
awesome.
live event tomorrow night on June 4th at 6 p.m., where we are going to tune into the Venus Sun, Cassimi, heart of the sun, and work to clear blocks to really
Oh, that
receive.
sounds wonderful. People
Yeah.
need that. You really need that. I work with the lady, you might know her, Dr. G, Dr. Griner.
Oh, oh, cool.
Yeah,
I like her too.
she's you might see her on Facebook every day. She does those. She's just every time I talk to her, she opens me up. All kinds of wonderful things happen.
Yes,
So I highly recommend those.
yes,
Yes, yes.
yes, yes, yeah. It's so much fun, because we have our energy bodies, we have our mental
Hmm.
bodies, we have our
And
emotional bodies, and actually clearing out what's in the way. Because, like you said, Venus effects and all the other planets do as well actually affect the tides, right? The Venus cycle actually affects the tides. And so the planets are affecting us. This is not just made up wish-wash.
no.
This is real. This is tangible. This is like a phenomenon. And so the
Hmm.
more tuned into that, the more powerfully we can experience it and embrace it. And so
Yeah,
awesome.
and clearings also, they, you don't feel it right away, like, okay, cool, I just did a clearing, but then like a day or two later, there'll be a synchronicity or something will pop open for you. It's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, we did an event introducing the event. We're like, okay, well, we want to give people a sample of the clearing and the experience. And we worked on money and opening up to money. And we actually ended up clearing a dimension 285 feet below
Oh, wow.
in the clearing. And the next day, I ended up buying myself this brand new, like, you know, awesome pair of shoes at the thrift store, but they were like brand new. They were perfect. And they fit me better than any shoe I'd ever worn. I felt the most grounded. I've ever felt in my life. And I'm just walking around. I'm like, this is such an amazing synchronicity and so appropriate for Venus, right? With the like the solidity, like something in the physical showing up to match the energy. That is that abundance. That is that love energy. Wow.
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 I love it.
Amazing.
Yep. Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. So thank you, Dr. Dani, for being on here with us. I don't want to keep you too long. I'm sure you have lots of other stuff going on. Is there anything you wanted to share or go over before we finish up here? Any questions out in the audience? Let's
Yeah.
see
If anybody
people.
has any questions,
Let's see here.
and I'd also love to share my Venus intentions.
Yeah, okay.
So we can do that.
Yeah, and so, it's interesting because we're heading up to a new moon on June 6th.
Thursday. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my wedding anniversary.
Oh,
Thank you.
congratulations. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, any questions out there in the audience, we can get those answered. Otherwise, from what you're saying, it seems that Venus is somewhat acting like this is like almost like the new moon of Venus in a
Hmm.
way.
Exactly. And you're going to have a new moon and a new Mercury kind of all this week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So what's Mercury up to?
Mercury is in the same spot as Venus. Like, so, on the other side of the
Very
sun,
close.
a superior conjunction. Every time Mercury is retrograde, then you have the superior or the inferior conjunction. And that's
Mm.
the height of Mercury retrograde. And Mercury is like a transmitter, just constantly doing this, like setting off a frequency, right? And our little brains are
Uh-huh.
doing the same thing. And so as it gets closer and then farther away, that Doppler shift that happens, those electromagnetic waves can
Right.
experience really turbulent fluctuations. So yeah, Mercury can be interesting too. Yeah,
Yeah,
but so
she's
so yeah, new
she's right
Mercury
near
cycle.
Uranus.
Hmm.
Oh, interesting. Well, we'll have to do a whole talk on Mercury cycles at some point. That's a
Yeah, I have a
whole
Mercury class too. I have over 20 hours of course content on my website. So,
amazing.
and no
Amazing.
memberships required. It's kind of like a fill in the gaps where your knowledge is and get the class that works for you.
Fantastic.
We record them live and then they're there as modules. So, the next live class is actually going to be in 3 weeks. We're going to do Neptune, me and Maria Schumacher.
Oh,
You know
cool.
Maria,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So she's going to co-teach that with me. So if you guys want to check out that class, that'll be a fun live. It'll be different than
Awesome.
what I've been doing. It'll be a little bit more free flow. We're kind of going in, we're kind of using Neptune energy to teach Neptune energy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. And we have so much Neptunian energy right now with the destiny point, with Chiron, with Neptune, all in Pisces, which is what the sign Neptune rules. So,
Hmm.
and it's all happening to be in the Cetus constellation as well. And Cetus, of course, is the sea monster. So it feels as though with all that Neptunian energy, we're kind of being called to face our inner fears to actually transcending into our happily ever after, which is
Yeah.
what I found to be true with Cetus. It's like we go into our own fairy tale to face the challenge and then emerge victorious. And we might think during those moments that we are not going to make it. But the truth of the matter is we always win because you got Pegasus above it and we always soar free onto the next victory. So don't anyone get discouraged out there. You're just going
Ever.
through the ever increasing spiral of getting to know who you are and becoming more of that, which is what the challenges are there for, to help you grow into the next version of you, which is even more you and even more happy and even more excited.
Yeah.
So it seems like it sounds like you'd like to talk about your Venus intentions. So, everyone out there, if you want to get in tune with us here and just get in tune with what your Venus intentions are as well, feel free. And we'll set some sort of Venusian intentions here as we lead up for this 10-month cycle. That's a long time. That's a nice amount of buildup to the manifestation. So this might be, those bigger things, right? You want to be a millionaire, you want to be a billionaire, you want to build a house or graduate in some type of new endeavor. Those can happen in 10 months. So go ahead, Dr. Dani.
For sure. Yeah. So this kind of comes from a few different sources. There's a YouTube influencer that I follow. His name's Brian Scott, and he's kind of like a reality creator type of person, wants to see if there's practical ways to manipulate reality. He uses a lot of meditations, a lot of intention setting, and he's created this mantra. It's called the large sums of money mantra.
Oh, cool.
And it's really cool. It's developed over the years because at first it's, large sums of money come to me, large sums of money come to me, large sums of money come to you. But then what you find is that sometimes they come through nefarious means, like you find it on the sidewalk, or, you find a bag in someone's closet, or you get it and then it's taken away by a bill or taxes or something like that. So he's refined it over the years to make it more spiritually okay and like supportive, so it starts off with that, and then it gets more specific for me. But I invite you, whenever I say me or my, to think I for yourself. Just think of that for yourself, because if you do want to step into the next level of abundance and wealth, there's a lot of things that go with that you might not be thinking about. And so these intentions are set for that purpose. Very practical, very specific. So if it doesn't resonate with you, that's fine. But if it does, just internalize that, and here we go. Ready?
Right.
So just here we go. Large sums of money come quickly and easily, with integrity and fairness, from multiple sources in increasing quantities, that I get to reinvest, grow, donate, and live elegantly from. Intelligent, wealth-conscious, like-minded souls supporting and resonating with my teachings, meditations, and readings. Exponential attention to my content through subscriber growth, interest, and collaboration. Support through resources, time, and investment from dedicated staff and colleagues that support my vision. Ample, timely, beneficial, authentic assistance and representation of my legal, financial, and domestic affairs to regulatory bodies, and flowing time for rest and sustenance to rejuvenate my body, meditation to rejuvenate my mind, creation to rejuvenate my spirit, and love to rejuvenate my heart.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Because you want the full support. If you're open to receiving the abundance, you need all the support that comes with it. And it comes with lawyers and financial advisors and people that need to give you opinions so that you can make the best decision. And it also helps to learn about money. And it's never too late to start. Like, find somebody that you can learn about money from, as an energy, as a spiritual concept, and it becomes less intimidating. And, frankly, it's your birthright to be well taken care of.
Right. Right. Wow, that's super powerful. Super, super powerful. Well, I just want to say a little prayer that everyone out there with this Venus lining up with the sun, that you are able to open and allow and receive the divine abundance that is your birthright, that is your heritage. And then, as Dani says, that you are able to receive it in the highest and best way, having all of the divine levels of support and care that is essential for you to feel safe and grounded and supported as you receive that divine gift for whatever it is that your heart, your soul, your beingness wishes to call in and co-create with the universe. May you find the epic space and love and grounding to allow, open, and receive to the divine gifts of your spiritual inheritance. And may that blessing ripple and ricochet across the planet, expanding ever and ever more powerfully with each day and breath as we approach 10 months. And may in those 10 months your divine gift be there, received. Oh, my sweet God, thank you. Thank you, God. Seeing
Thank you. Thank you.
sparkles, seeing love, seeing magic, seeing light as you manifest that beautiful gift from your heart, the greatest of ease and joy and blessings.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Live as if, and one more tip, if you wish for something for somebody else, it is more likely to manifest. So don't forget to be generous either.
That's
So
right.
if someone comes to you with a wish, imagine them having that thing. Imagine it. Imagine them having it, and it will come true for them.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Dani,
you,
for being
guys.
here
All
on
right. I
Block
love you all. I
Lotus.
appreciate this. What an honor. Thank you so much. And until the next time, my friend.
All right, have a great day. And if you
You
have
too.
any questions, leave them below. And we'll leave the links for the events and other beautiful offerings that we both have to share. So much love.
Bye. Thank you.
All right. Love you all and look forward to seeing you soon.